Hello, passengers, co-pilots, shotgun callers, blunderbuss bellowers, and midnight riders. Welcome to another episode of Full Moon Empty Road. As always, I'm Jeremy, and I'll be your driver tonight. Hope everybody had a great week. Hope everyone had an even better Thanksgiving, and hope you're ready for another road trip. We're going to be spotlighting a particular entity tonight rather than a place. We're looking at the water babies. So get in, buckle up, grab the rock salt, and let's ride. We have work to do. And while we're headed there, I just wanted to take a minute to say thank you to everyone for checking out today's episode. If you'd like to follow me on social media, you can find me at the following places. That's FMER Podcast on Facebook and Instagram, Full Moon Empty RD on Twitter, and Full Moon Empty Road on TikTok. And if you'd like to support the podcast, listener support is on Spotify and Spotify for Podcasters. You can head over to Bonfire and pick up a t-shirt or sweatshirt. You know, we've got a fall line out now since it's getting cold, so there's sweatshirts, hoodies, long sleeve shirts. You know, go check it out. You can drop a tip in the Patreon or Good Pods tip jar or the PayPal tip jar, or you can buy me a coffee. All links are in the About section on YouTube and in the description. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in today. And it looks like we're here. So come on, let's check out the water babies, starting with Massacre Rock State Park. Massacre Rock State Park is located just outside of Pocatello, Idaho. Snake River is the hot spot in this area for the legends of the water babies. There are two different urban legends of the place that I could find, and we're going to dive into both of those. Pun somewhat intended. The information on the first legend comes from onlyinyourstate.com. And what is now I-84 and Massacre State Park, they were big parts of the Oregon Trail. For some of you old enough, it may make you think of the old computer game that we played in school occasionally of the same name. The Oregon Trail, that is. Anyway, settlers from the east used this as a means of travel to journey westward. It's said that Massacre Rocks got its name from the narrow passage through the area's boulder configurations. Settlers traveling through the passage feared being ambushed by Native Americans, although it is unverified that any altercations happened there. Aside from being a tourist destination, it also has claim to the urban legend of the water babies. So again, Snake River is said to be haunted by water babies, and the water babies are said to be just that, the spirits of drowned babies, at least spirits of drowned babies in one legend. And when I first heard about this, I was expecting this to be another version of the La Llorona legend. Turns out, kinda, but not so much. So let's hear about their story. The first version of the water babies legend goes a little something like this. It's believed that Native Americans that initially inhabited the area went through a pretty rough famine. The natives, having decided that there wouldn't be enough food to go around, allegedly forced the mothers to go down to Snake River and drown their babies after they were born. It is also believed, after the babies were drowned, they changed and grew fins and gills in order to survive in the water by eating small fish. People have reported seeing these small water spirits playing in the canals and rivers in the Massacre Rocks area. So, famine hits, and while we today would be like, so you'll figure something out, back then it was one of those this is the best option we have available. If you're, any newborns, take them down, drown them. Don't put them through the life of this famine. I won't say I get it, but at that time, I understand why that was the method they chose. Don't think it's right, but I guess at the time it was one of those that was do what's best for everybody rather than try to make basically a losing situation work. And now there is another variation of this story that states this actually happened to a group of white settlers rather than Native Americans. I think the story was something along the lines of white settlers traveling the Oregon Trail, and they actually ended up hitting hard times during their travels and had to, anyone who was, traveling with newborns or anything like that, it was, you're going to do that to them instead of it actually being Native Americans. Now, these days, people have reported that the water babies try to lure people out into the river to drown them. And I don't know, man. I don't think I'd be willing to follow some scaly swimming infants into the water. I have to assume that most people would feel the same way, so surely their drowning success rate can't be all that high. Then again, there are some real dumbasses out there. Another version of this urban legend takes place near Pyramid Lake in Utah. According to this legend, rather than dealing with famine, the native tribes in the area would drown sickly or deformed babies in the lake. This was done to reduce the burden on the tribe. So, kind of like a minute ago with the Massacre Rocks version of the legend, essentially, we're not going to be able to feed anybody, and to remove some of the extra mouths and take the burden off the tribe, we're going to drown the drown babies. I mean, according to the legend, the babies survived in some fashion. They became monsters and were driven by vengeance and would return once a year to attack unsuspecting white people and drag them down into their watery depths. Now, I come back to this. Unless these little demonic water-dwelling baby creatures are supernaturally strong, I don't think I'd be letting them drag me out to a lake to drown my ass. I mean, yeah, I don't think so. But I mean, maybe it's one of those situations where they have some sort of supernatural lure kind of thing, like, luring someone to their death, like maybe you hear the sounds that they're crying and something kind of takes hold of you and you're like, I've got to go check this out no matter what. I don't know. It didn't really go into, which I mean, I guess it can't, because if there's an eyewitness account out there, then it wouldn't really be an eyewitness account if they're getting drowned. Another Native American ghost story tells a slightly different version of the water babies legend. Sat along the shores of Lake Utah and Provo, this version claims that the water babies are not babies at all. Rather, they are mythical creatures, and by mimicking the cry of human infants, they draw people to the water so they can drown them. Now, I said a minute ago, kind of like some supernatural lure, but at the same time, normal situation, you hear a baby crying, you're going to go check it out. It's not really going to be, it's less about a supernatural lure and more about human decency. Nobody wants to, generally, let me generalize that. Nobody wants to see anybody get hurt, but there's not a lot of people in the world who would want to see or hear a child, toddler, baby, infant, anything like that get hurt. There's as they say, children are, they should be protected at all costs, kind of thing. So basically, if you're in Utah or Idaho, and you hear an infant crying at the water's edge, let it cry. Let the tears fall down like rain. So, tell me what you think. I looked for an eyewitness account of the water babies because, just like with just about any urban legend out there, there's always some eyewitness accounts. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any for this particular subject. So, again, tell me what you think. Are there really any, water-dwelling infants out there who lure unsuspecting people out into the river to ultimately join them in their watery grave? Or is it just another scary story that's only purpose is to make the atmosphere around the midnight campfire just a little colder? And that's really all I've got on the water babies today. To me, it sounded like a very interesting topic, but there was really just a couple stories and a small little backstory about them. I do want to give a shout out to my coworker turned supervisor, Bree. She actually sent me a video on TikTok that talked about the Idaho version of the water babies. And after a few weeks of thinking about it, I decided it was time for another History and Hauntings or Dark Words, Dark Things episode. I haven't done one in a while because I've been more focused on getting the episodes of the Wicker Saga out. But I figured, while I was waiting on audio from featured voice actors, I'd write out one of these episodes. So, Bree, thank you so much for putting this topic in front of me. And if you do get a chance to listen to this, I hope you enjoyed it. Also, if you like the song playing at the start of the episode, that was Trey Wynn. He is a friend and coworker of mine and a hell of a musician. You can go check him out on YouTube and Spotify. His name is Tres. That's his first name, Trey. Last name Winn, Trey Wynn. And that's really all I've got for the day. So I appreciate everyone stopping in and checking out the episode. Reminder, you can follow me on social media at FMER Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook, FMER Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. You can follow me on TikTok at Full Moon Empty Road, and you can follow me on Twitter at Full Moon Empty RD. If you have a topic you would like to suggest, please feel free to reach out to me on either one of those social media platforms, or you can drop me a line at fullmoonemptyroad@gmail.com. And again, thank you guys for stopping in today. I think we are done here. So let's go home.
Is there anything that you want me to say? Show me everything that you are holding from me. Just please me and tell me all the ways you're feeling for me. Just trust me, I understand why you are playing this safe. But